Hey, you, what's good? I know I don't really look like Kristian. I do this every time. I don't know why I keep thinking it's gonna be a fresh bit. It's not. It's me. It's Winston. You're familiar with my face. Kristian is gone on vacation. He certainly deserves it. He's out here 5 days a week doing the damn thing. So he is spending that time with his family. So that means once again that the kids rule the classroom. Myself and Coy will be up here talking everything from Daredevil spoilers. We'll make sure to let you know when that part is happening, to talking about potentially what's going to go on with the Punisher. We're going to be talking about lanterns. We're going to be talking about the possibility of the SnyderVerse being revived in like the DC multiverse. There was another big story that dropped. Alan Ritchson saying he doesn't want to play Batman, couldn't pay him enough money to do it. So that might put that to bed. But we got to start with a story about Warner Brothers and the fact that Superman, that lawsuit that was going on overseas, that might be done and we might be all good to go. We got all of that and more coming up on Capes and Cows. You already know what it is. Pop the intro, baby. Capes and Cows, you already know what it is. Of course, as I mentioned, Kristian is not here today. It is I, Winston A. Marshall. I will be leading the show, but you know I'm not doing this alone. I gotta be here with my boy, the one, the only, the Wandakin, out here repping it for DC and Real Rejects and his own damn channel himself. It's Mr. Oh my God, Coy. Why are you so in the camera?
The kids have control of the castle. It feels like, look at this freedom, a chaos. Let's do it.
Just absolute chaos, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. My thing is coming together. Like, take a look. Like, slowly but surely, I was asking people on I'm finishing up my reactions for Daredevil. I got some of my setup here. If people have any advice of where I should move things, because the DVDs are one place, the video games. So if there's people like a particular setup, I would love for y'all to let me know. But Coy, before we jump into everything, man, how are you doing? How are you holding up, man?
I'm trying to take a trip. I have not taken a trip out of LA that wasn't for family. That was more than 2 days in, I think, 7 years. I think all my trips that are longer than 2 days are either for work or for family. I haven't taken a vacation that was like a week. And I think 7 years. So I'm supposed to next week. And then my cat got sick yesterday. I just realized he snuck outside. I'm going to go grab him. And I'm moving too. We'll talk about that in just 1 second.
Well, glad to hear that. I'm glad that you're moving. I'll take the solo dolo for a minute. So, all that being said, man, let's go with some business really quick. First of all, thank you so much for joining us on this one. The magic number today, I believe, that we're trying to beat is 169. Let me double check here and see. I think Kristian actually put it up earlier. He did. It was with Roxy and DJ. They got to 169. So let me just tell you this much. We would greatly appreciate it. Coy's back. We would greatly appreciate it if you want to help the crew out, fight a crew.
He was just laying on the porch. I didn't even I looked outside and he teleported like Nightcrawler. He was just casually like, "Oh, I'm an outside cat now." So sorry.
Named him Spidey Cat. He's athletic, bro. He's gonna be able to just zip all over the place. This is what he does.
This is totally on me. 169 is what Winston's saying. I panicked. I interrupted the man. We're doing great. The inmates have taken over the prison.
The inmates are taking over the prison. So 169 is the magical number. Can y'all help us get there? We would greatly appreciate it. Coy just said that he's about to move. I just finished moving. And just for a fun little twist of fate here, my car broke down. So they're saying to fix it is going to be about $5,300, which I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. So if it's not that, I'm probably going to have to buy a new car. In both cases, that was an uppercut to the jaw I was not ready for. So if you really want to help the kids out here for our college fund, for our moving and car college fund, throwing them super
When did this show become like an ASPCA ad? I feel like we're just like, please,
please, donate donate please, just a few coins, please.
What did they call it when you like sponsored a child? Can you sponsor
for one super chat today? You too can help Winston and Coy not be poor vagabonds.
And it's like the stuff out of our control, like Spidey Cat got sick, and that's, dude, vets are, you know, and then like your car out of your control. It's just been a week, dude.
It's been the worst week. That is an understatement, man. But let's talk about somebody that's having a much better time. That is Warner Brothers, as it seems like they have figured out what's going on with the lawsuit. This is from Variety. Warner Brothers is moving to throw out Superman's suit over foreign copyrights. It's Variety's report. Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Comics have moved to throw out a lawsuit over the copyrights to Superman in foreign territories, arguing the issue has already been exhaustively litigated. Mark Perry, the nephew of the late Superman co-creator Joe Shuster, filed the suit in January, seeking to invalidate the studio's copyrights under the laws of the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Ireland. If successful, the lawsuit could interfere with the release in July of Superman, starring David Corenswet, directed by James Gunn. The motion to dismiss, filed Wednesday, Warner Brothers noted that courts have repeatedly rejected Perry's claims, finding that his mother, Jean Peavy, so he is Perry, but she's Peavy? I don't know if that's a typo or not. Anyway, signed away all rights to the Superman character after Schuster's death in 1992. Which, Coy, real quick, remind me if I'm wrong, that's around the same time of Death of Superman. That was 91, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like there is definitely a correlation of the biggest Superman events, maybe of all time, one of the biggest comic events of all time, and that loss. Like, it does, you're not wrong. But how many times have we read this? Like,
no, I know.
It's so crazy to me that the news is like, the thing that always happens
is happening again. It's happening again.
Let's go back. New rain in a rainy state. Oh, Seattle got rain. Here we are.
I know, man. Some people just can never let stuff go, kind of like Kendrick, which I love is petty. Perry's complaint falls on every ground, argued Daniel Petrocelli, the studio's attorney. The estate's lawyer, Mark Toberoff, this is a real struggle for me, all these names, bro, argued that in the overseas territories, copyright assignments automatically terminate 25 years after the author's death. He filed the suit in federal court in New York, arguing the U.S. courts have jurisdiction over the dispute because the U.S. is a signatory to the Berne Convention. In response, Petrocelli argued that the Berne Convention is not enforceable in U.S. courts and that the case should be dismissed because the courts lack jurisdiction. The studio also argued that the Schuster estate's claims have already been denied by a federal judge in Los Angeles, and those findings were upheld by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal in 2013. The studio also offered a summary of many legal disputes that have arisen since Schuster and Jerome Siegel first signed away the rights to Superman for $130 in 1938. God damn, $130. Oh, Lord. Since then, the studio argued the creators and their heirs have received millions of dollars adjusted for inflation and royalties and other payments. After Schuster died, his sister and sole heir asked DC Comics to cover his debts and increase the survivor payments to her. DC Comics agreed to those terms, raising her annual payments from $5,000 to $25,000 per year for the remainder of her life. That's it. Oh my God. The agreement states that it fully settles all claims regarding Schuster's copyrights and trademarks. 2013, the Ninth Circuit found that agreement precluded the estate's subsequent attempt to cancel the copyright. Toberoff argues that the Ninth Circuit opinions pertains only to U.S. copyright law and says nothing about Perry's rights in other countries. The suit seeks to assert that the Dickens provision, all these, like Charles Dickens, of UK copyright law, which it argues also applies in Canada, Australia, Ireland, Israel, Singapore, Hong Kong, India, New Zealand, and South Africa. In response, Petrocelli argued that the 1992 agreement covers all rights, including foreign rights. There are no carve-outs in the controlling 92 agreement for any foreign copyrights, much less for the copyrights of the 10 countries Perry now alleges in the complaint, Petrocelli wrote. Warner Brothers was required to respond to the suit by March 24th, but filed the motion to dismiss nearly 3 weeks early. The studio asked that if the judge does not dismiss the case, that it should be transferred to the Los Angeles judge who handled it previously. Superman is due to enter the public domain in 2034. That's a really long time. I don't think we need to worry about that. So, Coy, you hear all that, man. Where does your mind go with all of this? Do you think that the judge is going to throw it out? Like, where do you kind of see this playing out, man? Do you think they would even transfer to Los Angeles? It feels like that would be a bad move if they're going to try and keep this thing going.
I have absolute empathy for, a family that feels wronged by a creator in their family. Certainly. But I also don't think a distant relative that reopens a case this often has a lot of ground for it to continue. It was a tiny number that was disrespectful at the time, and then a slightly bigger, but still tiny number when it got fixed. But none of that is legally different than the cases that have already been thrown out. So to me, 25 to 30K is coming from a place of like, you made this thing, we appreciate it, and here's this. Do I think that's enough for, the Adventures of Superman? If it was the original creators or even like the daughter or son of, no. But like nephews and nieces, that 50 Cent has a kid that always wants more and more money, and he gives them like 100K a year, and he's never gotten a job, and he's never done anything?
Yeah.
Feels relevant.
Damn. It's kind of relevant. I mean, it's a little savage. I guess the one thing that if I'm Warner Brothers, what I would do and then tell them to shut up forever. I understand that obviously you have a situation where, they're trying to make sure that they can keep things balanced. There's a lot riding on this DCU, and whether or not, how it plays out can kind of determine how the rest of the studio goes forward, not just DC Studios, but Warner Brothers. We've discussed that multiple times. If I'm them, throw a decent number out there, because Superman and DC in general still pulls so much.
But if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Like, that's the problem with lawsuits.
I totally understand that, but you give them a shut up forever number that fully waives this can never be broached again. That they're like, give a number that
wasn't that the last lawsuit? The last lawsuit was it can never be broached. They're not listening.
No. I get that, and I think that's because they're already like, oh, this is gonna be $1 billion movie. I want more money. Like, I get that, but I'm saying like, do a because right now you have it set up where it's like the lotto sometimes has the 20K a month for life type situation. Do something more in that vein, because 25K per year, that's what that said, right?
Yeah.
That is offensively low.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Give them a number where it's like, all right, real talk, 25K a month for 30 years. I don't know what it is, adjusted for inflation. Never speak of this again. And if you do, instant shutdown, waive rights, whatever. Because I know there was the other lawsuit and all of that, but that I feel like that across the board, if you do something like that, what is somebody going to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they going to do at that point?
But on the flip side, let's use the lottery example you just gave, right? Let's say you won $100 million in the lottery. If your third cousins wanted money and you gave them a little bit, and then they kept showing up and they're like, give me enough money that I'll go away forever. Do you think they go away forever? No. I mean,
that's when you hire Bullseye to just come and assassinate anybody. I don't know if you knew that I realized right as I was starting Born Again that I had not seen season 3. I remembered that I hadn't, and was very confused in the opening minutes of Born Again. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, okay. So I power watched all of season 3 in about 24 hours. My brain hurts.
I'm really excited. I'm going to try to watch all 3 seasons before the finale, because my fiance hasn't seen any of it. But we're going on a trip, so I'm hoping when we get back, I might just watch the finale like normal, but then like forget enough and over the course of the summer, because I haven't rewatched Daredevil since 2018. So I'm so excited to like have what you just had.
No, that's totally real. I get that. I totally get that. And I see someone's comment saying, if I win 100 mil, I'm going off grid. That's the problem. I don't think DC Studios can go off grid. If they go off grid, I think that's the end of Superman, Batman, and everything else.
Not good for anybody.
That's the only thing that doesn't work. But I get it. I think there's a situation, there's a certain point where you have to look at it and go, we have paid them enough money, and that's where, from a business standpoint, or at least we've done this dance multiple times, and that's where you are correct, Coy. You give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want milk, and then they're going to want a blanket, or however the story goes. And I get them being like, we're not doing this anymore. There's a point at which you have to draw a line in the sand. I think the only other thing that you could potentially do, maybe, if you set it up based off of like increments or something like that, so it goes up like 0.5% each year or something like that, as far as what the payout is up to a certain point, then you're also being like, I'm also giving you more money. You know what I'm saying?
But that's if they did anything. Like they didn't they just were born.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I will never agree with a corporation over a human being if the human being has a point. I'm coming from a place of like, I just don't want the controversy that isn't really even a controversy. The problem is like we're reporting on this. That's the problem. Like this is a nothing burger, and this is the third time we've talked about it. And like every time it comes up, I'm like, and like it's Daredevil. Daredevil just came out. We're not talking about Daredevil first. No. We're talking about a nothing burger.
It was only because since this had kind of come up, and obviously we're getting closer and closer, the Kristian was like, let's make a minor pivot because it looks like the Warner Brothers may get this thing thrown out. But we're very curious.
It always should.
I know that. This is definitely a level of a grift that's kind of going on right now. But let us know what you think, man. Get in those comments. Let us know. Do you think that they should get a little bit more money, or do you think you cut off? You're done. You're done. You're drunk. Get out of the bar. Let me know. Let us know in the comments, man, and in the chat. Again, if you didn't know, it's just Coy and I today for the show. So I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times, whenever we have various like sponsors and whatnot, my illiterate ass, or at least pseudo illiterate ass, I could read. I just fancy your names can be hard for me. I just don't dive in. I let Kristian handle it. So he went ahead and pre-recorded these wonderful messages from our sponsors.
I always feel like dancing when Via is part of the show. I love Via. I've been talking about Via with you guys, and I am just in love with Via because you want to feel great, and you got to feel great with the right products. And for me, that's Via. We are very proud to have them sponsoring this episode. I have absolutely fall in love with them, and if you haven't tried them yet, you really are missing out. Whether you have to unwind, you're focusing, you're boosting your mood, Via is here to enhance your everyday and night. I'm all about that sleep. The sleep ones, sleep gummies. Oh my goodness. They are trusted by over 500,000 happy customers. Via is changing the game in natural wellness. I love them. You really do just have to unlock the power of nature with Via's organic and vegan hemp extracts. They're perfect for relaxation and rejuvenation. Via is the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plant extracts to create products, each with special effect in mind. Whether you want to get better sleep, that's what I'm saying, ease anxiety, enhance your mood, or just get high, they got something for you. Their products range from 0 milligrams to 100 milligrams of THC, so these guys have you covered whether you're looking to microdose or enjoy more potent effects. They are the industry leader. They have over 500,000 customers served. It's made in the USA. It's farmed and crafted with care in the United States, and it's award-winning services experiencing the top-notch customer service. You got to check them out. If you're 21 and over, check out the link to Via in our description and use that code Kristian to receive 15% off, free shipping on orders over $100. And if you're new to Via, you get a free gift of your choice after your purchase. They're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Enhance your everyday with Via. NordVPN. It is a great VPN and the one I've been telling you about. Why? Because if you're watching a sporting event, a TV show, a film which is not available in your region, you can switch over your virtual location to a country that is showing the event. You can protect your private data like bank details, passwords, or online identity. NordVPN can switch your virtual location, allowing you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. NordVPN is the fastest VPN in the world. There's no buffering, there's no lagging while you're streaming, and it stops your ISP bandwidth throttling. One NordVPN account can be used on up to 10 devices. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/khshow. Our link will give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. So check it out, NordVPN. Let's talk about Stitch Fix. Now, I told you guys about them last week. I'm going to tell you about them again. Why? Because shopping, it's not the easiest. I found a much better way because Stitch Fix online personal styling has made it so much easier for me. I cannot stand shopping. I hate it. Even when I'm figuring out my sizes, stores, they just don't seem to have everything that I want in stock. And the crowds, you know me with people. I get annoyed fast. So who has the time to shop anyway? Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, they understand your size, they understand your budget. That's the most important thing. They do all the shopping for you. Shopping and figuring out style, it can be overwhelming. So when it comes to getting dressed, it's hard for me to even figure out where to get started. And that's why I love having Stitch Fix, the stylist. It really knows what works. So I can get pieces to make me look great, and it's a confidence boost. I love it. My wife was like, look at you putting outfits together. And I didn't say anything except, yeah, I did it on my own. She knows, though. She knows everything. Anyway, no stores, no crowds, no stress, just personalized looks that you will love. Stitch Fix makes it all very easy. You can make style easy. You can get started today. You got to go to stitchfix.com/KHS. Pretty easy. stitchfix.com/KHS. Thanks, Stitch Fix.
Thank you so much to all those wonderful sponsors that keep the lights on in this mug. I genuinely appreciate it. Again, if you are just joining us, Kristian is out right now. He is out on vacation, so it is just Coy and I holding it down for Capes and Cows today. So please, we are trying to get to 169. Coy, do you want to take a wild guess where we're at so far as trying to catch up to Roxy and DJ?
7.
We're doing better than that, man. A little higher.
21.
We're not doing that good, man. We're only at 13. Chill out.
I was like, where are we at? You said better.
I know.
Okay, 13,
So yeah,
13.
please, if you feel so inclined, throw in those super chats, throw some questions in, throw some support. We appreciate you. But now is the time of the show because one of the best, reboots that we've seen in a minute has come back. We are going to be talking now, of course, about Daredevil Born Again. So to that point, if you don't want to get any spoilers, because this is going to be a spoiler discussion, here's the banner. This will be up the whole time we are discussing spoilers. So if you decide that you don't want to hear any of that, you can leave the video on, hit the mute button, and when you see that banner go away, we are done. All right? I'm giving you that as a heads up so you know what the deal is, because I want everybody, don't leave. Just put that shit on mute. And then you can come back when I pull that down. So all that being said, Coy, I'm going to let you go first. I am about 2/3 of the way through episode 2. Okay. Because I was playing catch up. I was up late last night trying to finish the season 3 of the original series. I'm about 2/3 of the way through that second episode. What are your just initial thoughts, man, as you see this reboot? Like, does it live up to your expectations? Or the things that are lacking where you're at right now?
Personally, I see it as like a volume 4 in a great comic series. It definitely takes love and style and appreciation from volumes 1 through 3, as if that was a different artistic team. Like a writer and artist combo had been on it for 3 years. And then volume 4 is a new creative team, and it definitely acknowledges and pays homage to those while being a new creative team. And I really like that. I really like that this doesn't feel like a Disney Plus show. I like that it isn't a pale imitation, like a hollow version of the Netflix show. I was worried that anytime you try to replicate something, especially 7 years ago, and you try to be too close to it, it's going to feel like just trying to, like Plato's The Cave. Like there's too many shadows and replications of shadows, and it's going to feel hollower and hollower the more you try to replicate it. So I've really enjoyed that it is not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's its own wheel on the same car. And it's been a really fun look at a stylistic pivot where it's still using a lot of lush colors, but it's doing it differently. I'm loving, like, playful camera work where it's changing the aspect ratio, where it's using movement to
that
use.
That was sick.
Like, that's what a cool use of his powers, right? So, like, the visual aid of the way it's painting pictures, I think, is new and exciting. It definitely took a slight adjustment for me, but overall, I think it's a great way to bring the character back and incorporate him into our world.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I think the thing that's very interesting for me, just from the standpoint of, having just rewatched the original series, that third season, you're getting the same level of brutality up to like a point. The one thing that I do think the show has done a little bit better as a starting point, season 3 is phenomenal. Like people kept telling me. I was bored to tears at the start of it because they kind of had to get the ball moving again.
Yeah.
The one thing I will give the MCU credit for, they have a tendency, at least with the shows, to get the ball moving pretty quickly on these. The exception to that rule, I would argue, is Secret Invasion, but that whole thing is trash. So, and even then, people were kind of like, okay, this might be a thing with that first episode. It just didn't ever catch its footing truly after that. But from the get-go, they were smart to use a Daredevil fight scene right away, and especially with Bullseye, because Bullseye is a goddamn psycho. Jesus Christ, the brutality of that fight, man. And what it did is, because he obviously had those moments in the original show, but this seems a little more brutal, and it sort of wed the Colin Farrell version of it from which
Paperclip and everything. It gave a little nod to the paper.
The paperclip, the idea that he is just, because he is constantly just throwing whatever in season 3 of this one, and in this case, same thing. It's like knife. Here's a pool ball. Here's a pool ball. Here's a bar stool. Here's a bottle. Like, oh my God! And the one thing that I keep thinking to myself is, I'm just like, are all those people dead? Or are some of them just knocked out? Because some of them, like, again, we saw what he can do with his fastball to kill somebody. So it's like,
they gave you a death count, I think, in the first episode.
Then what?
It was 11.
Yeah, it was 11. So it wasn't every single person he hit, but it was a lot.
And who knows the injured list if 11 are out?
Also, I am laughing at people in the comments saying, spoilers, when it says Daredevil spoiler talk in big red letters, right? In Daredevil red and white right there. Much love to you, but there's a reason why I put that there. Anyways, I say all that to say,
I didn't realize that was mirrored, so I just had to move my hands once it caught up. I was like, oh, I see.
That was just wild to me, just because I put that there. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about, just as an overall wipe, some of the things that I noticed that I thought was amazing, and they even did that. If we go back to the image here, the split, the full split of the white and red. Did you notice at the end of that first episode, the idea of Fisk in his ivory tower with the white on his face because he's the mayor now, whereas Matt, as a man of the people, in the streets with the chaos happening, with the red light flashing on him. So really kind of going to their color schemes and buying into that already. The same thing that we saw from, in general, the Kingpin pretends to be a man of the people, but he's not. You know what I'm saying? He's the exact opposite.
They also, I mean, that's the color theory that definitely did pretty strongly in the original. I remember Defenders had those 4 colors they'd use, but I also like, on top of that, they are using red sparingly with Matt, except his glasses, until there's moments of him like having those senses. So obviously the flashing imagery, but the opening scene of Wilson Fisk, when he goes to reach for his suit, touches the white one, goes over to gray, but then his wife is in the white Kingpin suit because she's in power with the business. Mm-hmm. So I love like the white being like this power color for that side, and them in the second episode, and you know, when they're having moments of discussion of like his power as mayor versus her power as running the business, neither of them are wearing white. So like there's an interesting use of color as like signaling, even beyond like the actual lights. It's brilliant.
No, absolutely, man. I think some of the other things that I really enjoy, like I said, I am only about 2/3 of the way through the second episode right now. I'm going to finish when we get off.
I don't want to give you spoilers for the second episode then, because it does end. I won't say what happens, but you just said something about the style of the Netflix show versus this one, and it being different, and that's about to change. And it's very funny you mentioned that because of exactly where you are. Okay,
because where I stopped was the pressing on the commissioner and like talking about this sandwich shop, and as soon as he leaves, the shit was disgusting. Like that was like, hey yo. So
I love Gino's. I think Gino's is a perfectly good sandwich.
No, but he wasn't talking about Gino's. He got the one across town. Remember, like that was the whole point. Is he wanted to show him the photo of the kid, so he picked some random one in Philly. And he goes, "That was disgusting." I was like, "Bro, damn savage." But that is the thing that I think was always so fun about what Vincent does, and that's both his acting but also the writing. It is this idea of irony that White Tiger is in it, but the idea of like, Siegfried and Roy, like this tiger, oh, he seems so calm, he seems so domesticated, he's classy, he's the mayor, he's not whatever, and you just need to give him time, and he'll show his teeth, and then eventually he'll bite a whole arm off, and you'll be like, like that is what we're already seeing with it. The other thing that I actually got to give credit to, just to the actor, Vincent's looking good, man. Like he trimmed down. I love that they kind of made a little joke at it in universe to be like, your step is lighter. And he was like, I wasn't a diss, bro. You seem to have lost some weight. I'm just being real.
Also, like the way he eats is different. Like they show food as like a structured power thing, which is really interesting. And I also like, I really dig the dynamic of both men knowing the other is violent and repressing it in different ways. Like Matt repressing it for Foggy and doubling down on Law, and Fisk doubling down on the professional side. But I love that they're both pushing against their inner demons to not let the devil out of either one of them. And that's such good writing for me to see that being mirrored in the two men, because that's the strength of the Netflix show, is like they each think they're right for the city. And this show is doing an even more parallel, like co-stars on the show dancing through this story.
It's one of the things that I was mentioning in my reaction, that I still have to find a place in my brain to remember that Daredevil is an overall New York villain, but specifically he is Daredevil's, because I really got introduced to Kingpin watching Spider-Man the animated series, so I keep associating Spider-Man.
He was introduced in Spider-Man.
So then that too.
You're not wrong. He was like he is a big Daredevil villain, but he was introduced in Spidey. So Wilson Fisk is a bad guy to red guys in New York.
Well, I mean, to everybody in New York. At one point, him and Luke got beef, and the fact that he called it out, tiger people and spider men and daredevils. We don't need them. We're better than that. I'll put my hand on my head.
Luke is mayor now in the comics after Fisk.
Right. No, I do remember.
So like that's a fun dynamic that I hope gets later on incorporated.
One of these days we just got to do a show talking comics, because I don't read at the clip that you do, but I'm pretty well versed on what's going on right now, man. And there's just so much that I would love to just geek out with you about, and maybe that's another little mini side once a month thing if you ever have time, since I feel like you don't sleep.
Remember time. Remember having time.
No, I don't.
The fact that I'm adding a move, I'm going to be like hitting you up like, how did you move? What's it like? I've been here for 5 years, which is the longest I've stayed in a place in a while.
I might have a few off. We'll talk about it offline if you need some supplies, but we'll get there. Look, we're going to end the spoiler talk now. So please, if you love Daredevil and you know what's going on and whatnot, please go ahead and throw in a comment on this video. Let us know what you're thinking about the show. If you're rocking with Born Again, if you're going to be tuning in. I know Kristian's doing reactions to it, I believe. I am myself. Roka, also a friend of the channel, is. I know the Coy, you're doing yours with Real Rejects, correct?
I'm doing my own solo reviews and then reacting on Rejects. So I've already got 4 videos up on my page and then 2 at Rejects. And who sleeps? Who sleeps?
Yeah, who a man without sleep. So with that, let us know in the comments what's going on. And again, you can jump in the super chats. I will warn anybody that if we do get any questions that are spoiler heavy for Born Again, before I put them on screen, I will throw that banner back up so you are aware of what's going on. Like I said,
and I assume we'll be talking about it more in the future, episode. I just don't want to. I know where Winston is, and a lot of my comments are based on the 2 episodes as a whole, and where he is about to go somewhere. And so, like, I'm being, but like, I want to have a longer conversation in the future about like episode 4 and on, or whatever we get to, because
absolutely,
I think it's great. And I wanted to ask you, you're on Twitter less as I am, but the discourse online has been so negative versus the critical score is better than season 3. And the fan score is strong, but the online, and I know Twitter's going to Twitter, but I found it interesting that as the Twitter vitriol grew, the audience score dropped. And I was wondering, like, do you think there's any correlation of like, I know a lot of people are impressionable. I mean, humans are impressionable. I don't listen to other people's reviews because I want my own opinion. Like, I don't watch YouTube, I don't watch what we do because I want mine to be me. But do you think the anger at just the Marvel brand and people being mad online has affected people's experience of the show?
Absolutely. I mean, look, there are things that I think this show does a lot better. There are things that I think does a little bit worse. I'll get more into that with my reactions and reviews on it because, again, I want to finish this episode to get there. But I know one of the main things, and this isn't even a spoiler thing, this is just what's going on. People are complaining about like the overuse of CGI, and even the fact that they think that maybe the CGI isn't super great. And to the point where then a discourse started about, well, Daredevil looked better in She-Hulk, and all of a sudden people are like, so now you like She-Hulk, bitch? Like, what? Make up your mind. So I think it's one of those things that we also have to understand, by us rebooting it so far away from when the last one ended, we're in a member berries mode, and I think that that's going to do it. And yes, I think people on the internet, it has been so attuned to rage baiting people, and you couple that with the fact that the MCU is still trying to find ground. I think that is part of what's happening right now.
I do think the bar is impossibly high with Netflix, and I think that's why they originally planned to have a totally different tone. Whatever that original show was, like the Spin City lawyer comedy show, I think was intentionally not like the Netflix show to avoid this. I'm glad they changed it. I'm loving this show personally, but it is interesting how having it be a soft season 4 is causing people to have that rage. And I don't know if that would ever be preventable. Like now I feel like we're in an era of when Marvel started, there was that glorious age of like just celebration. And then as phase 2 went on, it escalated because it was like, somehow it's getting better. And then phase 3, when things were like, more hits than misses, the misses were like, it happens. And now it feels like Star Wars, where it's like, there is enough of a population that wants to rage that it's actually impacting even the good stuff. And so I always want to enjoy it and always want to be a voice of positivity. And that's why I don't talk about stuff I don't like generally, but it's pushing me in an interesting direction where like, I just hired a social media person and I'm trying to get off of line, like all of it. Like I want to, over the course of the next 6 months, get off of an iPhone and onto a flip phone. And I want to, within the next year, have like maybe a pager for weekends and not even carry a phone. I'm trying to like, because I want my opinions to be mine, but I also like, I want to believe in mankind. And the more I'm exposed to them, the less I can like them. So like, it's interesting because fandom's what we do. They're making us just like the experience of fandom. Like fandom is being fanatical about something, and fanaticism goes both ways. It used to be fanatically excited, and now it feels like fanatically wanting to be mad. So even when things are good, which this, in my opinion, is, if you don't like it, I'm not judging you, but it's interesting how celebrating stuff is now the aggressor. Like you get aggressive treatment about joy.
So I mean, my only pushback, and it's not because I disagree with you. It's that I genuinely believe we are not going to get into a political discussion, but there's not a single thing really in the world right now. And you've said this multiple times yourself. You've been like, I like the color green. So why the fuck does Koi hate blue? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just where we are. I think about literally anything. And there's some stuff that you can make actual arguments about. Hey, this is something we need to talk about, but it could be movies, TV, music, sports, it does not matter. This algorithm knows that the more money is generated, the more that people argue. And on top of that, individuals that are making content also know that, and hence why we call them grifters, where it is more fun to poke the bear because that will generate dollars, because people will hate click it and then they'll be in the comments left and right. That to me is more what it is. So I don't hate your idea of doing that. I think you could even take it a full step back, unless you just want a flip phone. I love flip phones, dude. I was happy. If that's what you want, then that's totally fine. I was saying there are plenty of apps and or parental controls. You can just set it to go, I can't open this until X amount of time, and then it sets it on a timer, and then that way. So if you still need the GPS or whatever else, you can do that. But that's all. But I hear you. That is a very interesting inquiry. I would love to keep talking about it, but we have other stuff we got to talk about. So
talk about using the stars as maps, Winston. Let's talk about using the sun for northwest, east, and south, and being done with technology.
Jesus Christ, God, why? I don't know if I can do this show just me and you anymore.
By the time I'm 40, I'd like to be using my own urine as water.
Fair. That's really gross. incredibly gross, but whatever. So the Rotten Tomato score has been revealed. This is Josh Wilding writing from Comic Book Movie. Coy mentioned this a minute ago about how it started pretty high. Initial wave of reviews is mixed. There's no denying that some critics don't appear to appreciate the revival anywhere near as much as fans. Regardless, the all-important score has been awarded an 83% off of 43 verdicts. It's a good start, though the score remains in a state of flux. In fact, as we started writing this article, the review aggregator sent out an already outdated ex-post touting a 77% score. With many outlets likely planning weekly reviews, a final number may not be determined until the series ends. Comparison's sake, Season 1 has 99%, Season 2 has 81%, Season 3, widely considered the best batch of episodes by many, has a 97%. All three are certified fresh on the site. Comparing Rotten Tomato scores can be a bit of a minefield, but as things stand, Born Again sits comfortably above the original show's second season. Audience-generated popcorn meter has awarded it a 95%. Many critics suffering from apparent superhero fatigue. It's not overly surprising. One review, our review from Comic Book Movie, masterpiece of epic proportions. Daredevil Born Again delivers a powerful, unmissable take on the man without fear, putting street-level heroes on the map in a way that promises to change MCU forever. The show is sublime superhero storytelling on a whole new level again. There is the promo poster for it being fresh. Lots of stuff there. Bloody-blue. Okay. We don't really need to go back into that. Just wanted to kind of wrap up the conversation about it. But what we do want to talk about is, sorry, got to pull that next story, is the teasing that kind of happened already. Very quickly, this is not really a spoiler. This is something we've already heard about in the news about the Punisher. In the premiere, the Punisher is mentioned. Okay, it does say spoilers below. All right, I'm going to do it again. Here you go. Blah. Here's your warning. Spoilers. I'm going to give you a whole 10 seconds before I start talking. I'll even count it down for your ass so you know that we are talking about spoilers for Daredevil Born Again. I don't want to hear your shit. It is sitting right there on the page. Yes, I'm calling you out to anybody that said in the chat, I love you, but come on. Use your motherfucking eyes. And if you blind like Matt Murdock, I apologize. But you also
said it, though, so they could hear you.
I said it. I said it, and I said it again. All right, here we go. Last warning for spoilers. So, yep. I wonder if it's going to ruin anything for me.
Have you? Yeah. Oh, no, this will.
Okay. Then you know what? I'm not doing this story. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take it back because I warned myself.
That's the exact thing I was telling you was about to happen in your viewing experience.
I warned myself. I didn't even see what it said. I was just like, I thought about it for a second. I was like, wait.
There is something you haven't seen yet that this article is about, I assume. Having not read the article.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about that. After all that crap talk I just gave, we're not going to talk about that. All right, well then instead.
You're going to like what it is, and I made a little video about it. So if you guys want my opinion, it's on my Instagram. That way Winston staves his spoiler. But I talked about it because I think it's a really, really wonderful thing they're starting down a path of.
Great. I love it. I love it. We'll come back around to it on the next one for sure. So let's go to some DC news. Let's talk about Lanterns, which before I get into this, because we were going to potentially talk about Invincible Season 3. Have you been watching? No. So then maybe we won't.
I've only watched episode 1 of Season 2.
Oh my God. All right. I'll give quick thoughts, but you can come to my channel and I'll give you the whole thing. I was going to wait to just do the full season as a whole. And we've got about one episode left. And this last one, holy crap. You got to catch up because this last episode, holy shit.
It's doing great numbers for people. I really wish I had the time to watch because once you're a season behind, it's like, how do you even?
No, I get it. And on top of the fact that I wasn't expecting Aaron Paul to join the cast and he has been phenomenal.
Love that dude's work.
So good. All right, but let's talk some Lanterns. The cast confirms that the Guardians of the Universe and the Sinestro Corps will be featured. Lanterns actress Porna Jaganathan. Is that how you say that?
I'm just enjoying you reading this episode. Just the journey that this is.
I hate you. To have confirmed that the upcoming DCU series will feature Guardians of the Universe and possibly the Sinestro Corps. It seems we can expect the Guardians of the Universe and possibly Sinestro Corps in the upcoming Lantern series. While being interviewed about her new series, Deli Boys, Porna Jaganathan, that's what we're going to go with, spoke about what excites her the most about the show, and in her enthusiasm may have given away a little more than she realized. I couldn't have loved the writing for Green Lantern more. Like Deli Boys, the Green Lantern series is extraordinarily well written, and my characters extraordinarily well built. And also, the way I can describe all the characters, we have all the characters we know and love, the Lanterns, the Guardians, Sinestros, and that world is still intact, and everyone is presented as heroes and villains at the same time. And that's what makes the writing so complex, layered, and so wonderful. Guardians of the Universe are the race of blue-skinned aliens who founded the Green Lantern Corps, which they administer from the homeworld of Oa at the center of the universe. You know, Kristian would struggle hard to say that. Even
he'd be having a time too. It's a whole thing.
Yep. Their involvement probably shouldn't be too much of a surprise, although it would seem to confirm that we will be heading into space at some point during the series. It's less clear if Jonathan meant to say Sinestros plural, or was simply referring to the villain who will be played by Ulrich Thompson. All we know is that Jonathan's character is her name, Zoe, and that she is believed to be Jon Stewart's love interest. Recently got a first official look at Lanterns via the promo. I'm sure y'all remember that photo of the two of them walking. There it is. You can kind of see the ring a little bit hanging out on Kyle Chandler's finger. James Hughes will helm the first two episodes. The creative team also includes Emmy-winning Lost and Watchmen creator Damon Lindelof, comic book writer Tom King, Justin Britt Gibson, Brianna Gibson, and Vanessa Baden Kelly are also on board. Okay, well, we're not going to get in the rest of this. That's fine. So, Coy, you hear that? It sounds like we're getting the Guardians and the Sinestro Corps. We were debating whether or not we're going to go to space. Do you think it is a situation where they end up in space? Do you think it's just like a intergalactic phone call? What do you think we're going to potentially end up doing here?
So this is one of those moments where, like, I will give you guys my full honesty. I don't know more than you about this property. It's filming now. I don't have more context. So this isn't in any way. This is me as a fan espousing. I think that it will get terrestrial for most of it and then launch into space based on the mystery. You know, we know it's a true detective mystery style thing. That's all we really know. So I assume if you want things to escalate, you'd want it to be, you know, trying to figure things out, and then it requires a bigger story. So I think it'd be a good climax. And I also think it'd be a good way to set up the Green Lantern Corps, the Sinestro Corps, the Guardians, is to end it in a place that gets bigger and bigger, because you're building a whole universe. So, I mean, I think making the Lanterns identifiable, relatable, but making them earthbound in the beginning, and then you connect to these characters, and as you're connected to them over the course of hours, then at the end, as you're already connected, then you get cosmic, and that's universe building. So that's what I'd do.
Word. I mean, I was saying kind of the same thing. I felt like you maybe have a situation similar to X-Men 97, where you had the episode of Professor X in space, and he goes, I gotta go home. And like, it's something similar where it's like something's happening on Earth. Maybe we need to go check in on Oa just to see if they know anything about this. And then you come back. It is a one. I think that makes the most sense.
Building. I just wouldn't do it at the top. Like what I'm saying is, you know, get your characters to love, and then so that would work too. It's the same dynamic, just you're putting it in the middle versus the end. But I think it's the same goal of like connection and then world building.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think that is what we need to do. I'm not saying we don't want to ultimately end up in space with the Lanterns. That is kind of what their big deal is. But I think focusing specifically on Earth is what we need to do. Because we're not just, you don't want to just world build for the Lantern Corps. We're world building for the DCU right now. And we're only really going to have Creature Commando, Superman, and
I think Supergirl will be out
by the time Lanterns comes out.
I want to say I don't know if they've dated Lanterns, but I know Supergirl went into production first.
Right. No, I get that. I thought that this.
I know Supergirl was June, and I thought Lanterns was fall. But again, this is one of those moments I'm not ahead of you guys on knowledge of Lanterns. Yeah. I just know it's in production.
Is Lanterns coming out? It says early 2026. I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think this is coming first.
Lanterns never proceed. All right.
Yeah, so So all that being said, I'm curious again what y'all think about it. Are you trying to see them be in space and fight Sinestro and the whole Sinestro Corps right away, or do you like the idea of just like give us a little taste and let's focus on what's going on Earth? We've debated this a number of times. Let us know how you feel, man. We got time for a couple more stories, then we'll hop over to the super chats. We got to talk about this Ritchson thing. Alan Ritchson. Boom, boom. Let's stop the screen share. Let me bring you up, Coy. There we go. Boom. So Alan has said he wants nothing to do with playing Batman in the DCU. Mark Cassidy reporting. So Reacher star Alan Ritchson was a fairly popular pick to play Batman even before he made up a massive impact in the title role of the Prime series. But the fan cast really picked up when DC Studios co-head James Gunn announced that a new actor will play the Dark Knight in the planned DCU Brave and the Bold movie. For his part, Ritchson has fully leaned into the campaigns, expressing interest in donning the cape and cowl on a number of occasions. The fact that people are interested in me playing Batman is a real honor and privilege, he said in a 2024 interview. It's one of the first characters I fell in love with as a child. I still remember the big, long pistol coming out of Joker's pants as he goes to shoot down the plane. Those iconic moments really resonated with me as a child. For there to even be a conversation or a rumor mill surrounding this role for me, all I can do is laugh. I just think it's wild where we are. Ritchson took part in Wired's latest autocomplete video, and the Batman rumor came up yet again. The actor is definitely still hoping to get an opportunity to play the iconic DC Comics hero, joking that they wouldn't even have to pay. Did I read that backwards? Yeah, I read it backwards. Oh, wow. And you didn't say anything?
I thought you were being sarcastic, and then you weren't, and it was funny.
God damn it. You could have told me instead of letting myself embarrass myself for the last 5 minutes, you asshole. What's amazing to me about the rumor of Batman or the Batman desire and the zeitgeist is the fact that James Gunn has personally announced publicly on his Twitter or X or whatever, LOL, he's not playing Batman. He's not playing Batman. And this thing will not die. I get asked every day if I'm playing Batman. Yeah, would I play Batman? Yes, I would pay handsome. Would I pay handsomely to be Batman? You wouldn't even have to pay me to be Batman. I would. Yeah, I would don the suit. Gotham is mine. Look at that. Gotham is mine. I didn't even have to practice. It just comes out naturally. Is there a chance that Gunn & Co. might be reconsidering Ritchson for the role? Anything is possible. It's worth noting that while these campaigns rarely result in the actor landing the gig, it's not unheard of. Rumors persist that the Batman star Pattinson will ultimately wind up staying on as the DCU's Cape Crusader, but Gunn recently confirmed that a new actor is being sought. As for director Muschietti, it sounds like he is still attached to the helm for now. We've heard these quotes a lot, so we can go away from it. All right, so we've talked about it before. I mean, you don't hate the idea of Ritchson playing Batman?
I mean, I feel like he's basically playing a Batman on Reacher. Like, it's a very Batman-coded character. I personally don't I don't have anything against it. It's not who I'd pick. Like, I wouldn't be upset, but it's, it's got to be a very different take than Pattinson to establish a different tone in the universe. And his size is so big and cartoony that it kind of works for that element.
Motherfucking Batman!
That element would be accurate. Like, that's there. But Paul Giamatti would be vegan and cartoonish as well. But
he would be.
I think you someone that distinguishes themselves from Pattinson, and that would be very visually like, you'd know Bruce Wayne is Batman, so you'd have to have an absurdist world because you see a guy walking around in a suit that big, he's Batman.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about Absolute a little bit. It's like, this dude is massive. There's 100%. Like 5 people that this could be. Because regular Batman, you could go, you know what? Clearly, he has to be rich to have all these toys, but maybe he's being sponsored by somebody.
But you'd have to go like Absolute, where it's like, we all kind of know, but that could work if you're doing a universe where there's crypto and lanterns. Like, the Justice League Batman should feel different than the Detective Comics Batman. That being said, I would prefer to have someone, I always say, like, my big thing with casting is all good Batman actors would make excellent Jokers, but all great Jokers would not make good Batmans. So Ritchson, I don't think would be a Joker at all. I could see someone like a Sebastian Stan, someone like Milo Ventimiglia, like some of those actors, I think nail both because the psychosis of Joker and Batman mirror each other, whereas Ritchson would just be like the ultimate or absolute Batman style.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm there with you. I mean, look, I genuinely like his acting. I got to see him in Titans, and I think he's great in that. But I do lean he does resonate more as Hawk in that, and I think to that point, I see him more as like a wildcat. You know what I'm saying?
Or Colossus. I see him as Colossus.
He could be a great Colossus. I think he could be a great Juggernaut, honestly, once they reboot that character. I think there's a number of just like big dude characters that he could totally nail. And I'm not saying I think he would do a good job with Batman, but I don't know if it's a good fit. I genuinely don't know if it's a good fit. But
the chat's talking about Affleck. Like our biggest Batman to date was Affleck, but Affleck in a suit, like a regular suit, didn't look like he was Alan Ritchson in a t-shirt. Like
right.
Batfleck was huge. Like if you go to the Warner Brothers Museum and see the bat suit, it's enormous. He's a big dude. But when Ben Affleck walks around, I don't go Batman. I go Ben Affleck. He's like still a human. Ritchson is like a giant human. Like he's
massive.
Yeah.
Like look here. Put that back on. This dude is huge. He is genuinely a massive human being. And I'm not saying he couldn't cut because he could, but he's also really tall. You know what I mean? So like you put both of those together, there's like
I loved him in that movie because they tried to they knew he was so big it'd be funny to make him have demurring qualities, and it doesn't work. That's why it's funny. That's why I don't think it would work to have a guy as Bruce Wayne. But again, I like the guy. So like I would not be mad, but it's not who I'd pick.
No, that's totally 100% fair. Let us know what you think, man. If you would love to see Alan do it. I love these campaigns because the other thing that might happen is that's how we ended up with a Miles, like not to a T, but because of the Donald for Spider-Man campaign, you know, the original creators, and I know you know this, said, yeah, we were largely inspired by him in that whole campaign, as well as the other elements that we did to draw Miles up. Who knows if maybe this creates another kind of a comic based off of him because of how much fervor this is getting. Because it is, I have seen it online, not just like him talking about it. I've seen people being like, yeah, I would love him to do it. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Bring him back as Aquaman.
That's not a terrible idea, but I thought we were going for a little bit of the Super Friends.
He's than Momoa.
No, well, that's true. That is certainly.
Like he's
true.
At least like blonde, pretty boy, jacked. Like there's a lot of ingredients there, and I'd love to see a little Smallville love.
Yeah. All right. Won't talk Invincible because I'm the only one that's seen it. I'm just saying that it's great. Come over to my channel and I'll say it. Which one do you want to talk about? We'll do one more. Either SnyderVerse under DC potentially, or the multiverse, or do we want to talk Brave and the Bold's kind of final box office, which apparently did halfway decent, all things considered.
Either one. You have an inclination? I'm kind of,
Yeah. Why don't we? Let's talk SnyderVerse. I think that's a bigger thing, just because happy to see that Captain America's doing all right. I mean, essentially they're saying it's getting pretty damn close to 400. It apparently passed the Eternals' final domestic box office at this point. You've heard our thoughts on the movie, so we don't really need to dive back into it. But let's talk about this potential for the SnyderVerse under the multiverse. So Chandler McNeil, I've never heard of this individual. Welcome to Comic Book Movie, or if you've been there, I'm glad to hear your stuff. The SnyderVerse, very controversial topic. It invokes electronically and physically loud voices, both for and against its existence, even years after it had been clearly ended. Then Gunn posted a picture with Snyder on his X account. Actually, the internet exploded. What could Zack Snyder and James Gunn possibly be doing together? Are they working on a new partnership? Is Snyder directing a new movie? Is the whole Snyderverse returning? The duo, of course, knew exactly what they were doing. Gunn even said so in an interview with Screen Rant. I'm just talking to Zack as a friend. So we were just hanging out, and then we're like, let's take a picture together. We knew full well what we were doing. We thought it was funny. He thought it was funny. I thought it was funny, and that's it. Basically, they were trolling everybody. However, like everyone else, the picture got me thinking. Obviously, Gunn is not going to hand the reins he currently holds over to someone else, especially someone who he essentially replaced. But if Snyder came back, what could it be for? Is it possible that Snyder could direct a standalone project within the DCU? And then an idea dawned on me. Gunn is clearly perfectly fine with greenlighting projects that exist outside of the main DCU timeline. The Batman is a prime example, as its sequel will likely come out before the DCU's Batman gets his own movie. Another example is My Adventures with Superman, an animated series set outside the DCU in which Jack Quaid voices the Man of Steel. Another animated series is going to be set in the same universe called My Adventures with Green Lantern about Jessica Cruz, one of the more modern Green Lanterns. It's unclear if Starfire, another animated series aimed at a younger audience, is going to be set within the DCU, but I'd imagine it won't be. If this many movies and films are being developed as multiverse titles within the DCU, why not the SnyderVerse? Say what you will about Snyder's line of DC movies, but most viewers had something to like and dislike about the projects, myself included. Casting in Snyder's films was either great or horrible. I was a big fan of Henry Cavill as Superman, Ben Affleck as Batman, but hated Eisenberg as Lex Luthor and thought Ezra Miller was an odd choice for Flash. I had problems with the way some of the characters were written, like Superman's lack of hope, but others, like Cyborg, being the heart of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Regardless of one's opinion of the Snyderverse, there is definitely a huge audience that would like to see the continuation of these stories planned out, the sequel and threequel to Justice League. While there were some strange choices like Batman and Lois Lane having a baby, sounded very intriguing. Riddler was going to solve the anti-life equation. Themyscira would be destroyed. Superman would succumb to Darkseid. Deathstroke would team up with Batman, Flash, Cyborg, and Mira. Batman would sacrifice himself, and the Flash would go back in time to save the world from Darkseid after the Justice League fails to stop him. That sounds like a story I definitely want to see. Pretty long, but the big problem is that it would conflict with Gunn's own slowly developing universe. Yeah, okay, I get what this guy's, because again, this is more of an opinion than anything else. So that's enough to kind of get it titillating in the minds. Would you be okay with that? Do you feel like that needs to be a long time from now? And at that point, are they too old to bring them back to do that? Where are your thoughts, man? Would you be okay with them Elseworldsing the rest of it, or just let it go?
I like the Zack Snyder world as an Elseworld. I say that's kind of why a lot of the Snyder fans get mad at me, is because I say I like the movie, as an Elseworld. Like I love that take, but it's not my take. And that's the power of Elseworlds. Like the power of comic books is new writers, new artists, then you evolve the character. Right. There are arcs of characters I love, even from writers I love, where I'm like, I don't know, that's not. And like, I'll still read them. I'll still experience them. I can still get joy out of them. But like, I see Superman differently. And so I, in my head canon, go like, well, that's an Elseworld. What a fun way to watch this thing. So right. I'd be cool with it at as labeled, and then not at cost of going forward. I just worry if we're talking about audiences not understanding two different Batmen with Pattinson and whoever they cast, now we're exponentially increasing the risk of them not getting it because we just had these guys. So if they're coming back and we're relaunching and all these things. So I just think, for comic fans, exciting. For the day-to-day person, maybe not. But in a vacuum, for my experience, I loved the Snyder Cut. I had a great 4 hours watching it. I will always want, if it's affordable and not at the cost of other things, to have more time there. But it would have to be a yes and not a no but this.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. There are definitely things that I enjoyed about it myself. But I think if we really can't be talking like this when we're starting brand new. I know it makes sense to do that. And I do find it funny that Gunn admitted they were just trolling everybody, but I think you're barking up the wrong tree to do that for the confusion's sake, for everything that would be along there. It just doesn't seem like a good plan one way or the other. I would be curious to see where this all goes, but I also, based on a lot of that, and there's been plenty of Superman stories in general, Justice League Dark, the animated movie that came out, covered the idea of the Justice League failing. You know what I mean? And then what does that mean? And how do you handle it? So like,
it's not an inexpensive movie to make.
Right.
Like it's like what, $300 million to do something worthy of following the Snyder Cut. Like you're not gonna. It's not like a fun little $40 million Swamp Thing. It's a huge epic with some of the biggest actors alive. And I love Ben Affleck's Batman, but I'm hoping Ben Affleck's busy, and if he has time to come back, it's going to be expensive. Right.
And I to that point, I'm not trying to jump into some multiversal epic because we already are just sick of multiverses in general. Right now, I know specifically with Marvel because we don't feel like they handled it particularly well. But I would say let's just hold on that, and then if down the line we want to find a way to oh my God, Henry came back for like the cameos by whatever. Like, cool. If you do Crisis down the line, cool. But I think let's back off this. But we want to know where you're feeling, what you're thinking about that. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We would love to know your thoughts on the subject. We are going to now go into the next part of our show. But before we do that, we've got a couple more sponsors that want to get a little bit of loving up with the audience, man. So here's Kristian once again.
Kickoff to me is super exciting in general because of what I'm doing in my life. I'm looking to I moved to New York for a reason, changing, and I wanted to get out of LA. Some people are like, oh, it was more expensive in New York. No, not where I live. And I needed to do some stuff and prove for my family. So time passes, and it passes kind of fast. So for me, it's like, I remember meeting John in college. That was 20 years ago, something like that. It just flies by. And no matter how fast time flies by, it's never too late to make progress. If you're saving for a big purchase, whether it's a home, whether it's a car, and you got to build your credit fast, Kickoff can help that. They are the #1 credit building app in the App Store, and plans start at just $5 a month. There's no credit check. There's no hidden fees. There's no interest. So for me, it was a matter of just building up that credit, making sure that, when you want to try to get a loan for a house, man, that's what you got to do. So that's what I'm telling you. For the credit goals for me, I want to make sure that I have good credit, paying off everything. And I found them because they're like, hey, this is something you'd be interested in. And I was like, yes, it is. What's so great is if your credit's under 600, you could jump 28 points in like your first month. It's a smart, legit credit hack with no catch. There's no credit check. There's no hidden fees. There's no interest. It's simple. You just make a one-time payment. The credit bureau sees the good behavior, and then your credit grows fast. You can start building credit immediately for only $1 first month. It's affordable. Well, autopay, you never have to worry about missing a payment. You can just build credit in your sleep. Sign up in minutes from your phone. No credit check. Cancel anytime. Kickoff is the #1 credit building app out there. You build credit fast. You get your first month for just $1 at GetKickoff, KIKOFF.com/Kristian today. I've really been making fitness a priority lately, and I want to make sure that my nutrition is part of that. So I've been getting Factor, man. And Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating pretty easy. They're dietitian approved, and they're ready to heat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel up right then and there. No matter what life throws at you. The great thing about Factor, it arrives fresh and it's fully prepared. It's perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. I can tell you it's been an absolute lifestyle changer for me. It's got over 40 options across 8 dietary performances on the menu each week. It's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. You can reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. So you want to eat smart with Factor. You get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use the code Factor Podcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That is code Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Factor. If the slots are spinning, you could be winning. You got to head on over to DraftKings Casino. You got to play the classics you know and you love, or try something new with DraftKings exclusive games. Plus, new players that give DraftKings Casino a spin can earn anywhere from $5,000 to $1,000 in casino credits. You just got to sign up and use the code HarloffXX and wager at least $100 on slots or table games to receive up to $1,000 in casino credits. Only on DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Only void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Minimum $100 in wagers required for reward. Play and earn rewards for up to 7 days. Varies by tier reach. Slots and table games only. Non-withdrawable casino credits expire in 168 hours. Wager $70,000 for maximum reward. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends March 16th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you so much to all of those sponsors, man. We appreciate it. And obviously, Kristian and I and Coy talk about it all the time. Any of the ones that we have got in the show, those are sponsors that we use. I know that Kristian has been using all of those. That's one of the things that he makes a point. It's stuff that he knows that you guys are going to like and would want to use, but that he uses himself and can kind of vouch for. So thank you so much to those wonderful people. So before we go on to the back half where we answer your questions, Coy, please give a tease of what's going on with you, where they can find you, all that good stuff, man.
Covering all of Daredevil every single week, every single episode, splitting the episode if they release 2. So when 5 and 6 drop, I'm doing a 5 and a 6. Also doing the big movies. I just posted my Mickey 17 review. I'm going to be doing my Novocaine review. I'm going to be doing a Locked review. I'm also going to be hopefully doing stuff while I'm gone. But people were asking for more Blu-ray stuff. I did a Blu-ray tour of my movies to speed review each letter. Since I'm leaving town, I want some evergreen stuff up. So I'm going to be posting that next week while I'm traveling. So check out my YouTube for movie reviews, TV reviews, lots of comic book stuff, and where my time goes when I'm choosing not to sleep.
Thank you for that, Coy. And you can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms. You will get this weekend my Daredevil Born Again reactions, not just the reviews, but my reaction and review. So there, we've got that. And then other than that, next week you'll get the blurred breakdowns and all that. I kind of had the issue this week with my broken down car, as I mentioned at the top of the show. Next week I'm going to be doing a marathon stream. I'm going to be trying to raise some funds. It's going to be a very expensive fix, about $5,300 fix. I'm not necessarily setting that as the goal, but I'm going to essentially stream for, I think the number I set is probably about 12 hours, maybe a little longer than that, but we will see. I will be announcing that on all my social media platforms soon. As far as the date, it'll probably be on the weekend, but I will let you know. So again, youtube.com/swaggyblurred and the Swaggy Blurred on all other platforms. So Coy, do you want to take a wild guess? Yes, what's up?
Before we get to questions or the fan questions, I want to give some love to a specific one of our sponsors while we're in the sponsor and us section.
Yeah.
Dude, Magic Mind, the sleep part of Magic Mind is, I kid you not, the best sleep I've had since middle school. Like I haven't slept well since like junior high, and I have a Whoop, like a biometric scanner to keep an eye on my sleep. I hit 7 greens in a row for the first time in 3 years. I've had this for 3 years. I've never had a full week's sleep. That Better Mind sleep is something special. So I wanted to, they're not even sponsored this episode. I wanted to give them some Magic Mind love. Magic Mind sleep.
You're not wrong. It definitely has been helping. And Lord knows, because the one thing that they mention on that, a quick just aside, is that they are like, the effects stack. Like the more it's kind of, the more you use it, it works better. And that is for damn sure. Like it has helped reset my kind of sleep cycle, because I stay up so late editing and doing whatever other stuff. It really, really helps kind of bring me all back. You know what I mean?
I've never sought out a sponsor for my page, because like I'm approaching 50K. And when I hit 50K, I was like, that's when I'm going to start reaching out to sponsors. Call number 1, 2, and 3 is that sleep. I want Magic Mind sleep. Like I'm just going to harass them. I love them. Magic Mind, I love you.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so Coy, do you want to take a wild guess on how we're doing as far as these questions go?
37.
Wow, you're really good. 33. We are so far away from 169. That's what, roughly about 136 away.
Yeah. Is it Roxy who got the 169?
Yeah, that was Roxy and DJ.
If Roxy's here during the week, I'm just going to assume we lose.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's here every week. So
next time Roxy goes out of town, maybe I'll try.
So, I mean, look, we go until we run out of questions. So if you want to help the brothers out, Coy is moving. I got the car stuff. We would greatly appreciate it, but don't even stress out about it. Just hang with us and let's talk some more stuff, and we will go until the questions are done. So let's get her done. Let's start off. We see some new members. Sadesh R, thank you so much. Rizaru Tor. This might be the reason that people start putting them in, is to watch me try and pronounce shit. That by itself is embarrassing. Like, do you remember, because I know you're a big 50 Cent fan, you remember when he was trolling Floyd Mayweather be like, if you could read one chapter of a Harry Potter, one page of a Harry Potter book, I'll donate $750,000 to whatever organization you want.
That man does not get credit for his like street comedian skills. Like 50 Cent is
impressive.
So naturally funny, and the stuff he thinks of to like get press is like, yeah, a big love to Curtis Jackson.
It's impressive, and the funny thing is, the minute you start giving me complicated names is when I run into trouble. Like, names mess me up hard. So I'm just embarrassed, but it is what it is. Shout out to,
if you're a vinyl guy, but Amazon today, lightning deal on the 8 Mile soundtrack on vinyl, 20th anniversary, regularly $110 down to $26.
Wait, I just told you I have to fix my car. I can't do that right now.
72% off. I had to jump. I'm in dire straits, but I was like,
I appreciate it. And the funny thing is, someone was in the chat was like, well, at that amount, why don't you get a new car? It's cars paid off. And truthfully, I'm shopping around to other mechanics. And if I can get it down to a price that makes a little more sense, because I got an old car, then I'll do it. But otherwise I might have to. I really don't want to, especially because, used cars are still very expensive because the people still want them. And, the price of regular cars just shot up. We're not going to get into that. So we will see what happens. But yeah, that's the initial quote from the first person that said they would fix it. So if I can get it down to something
so look at your Kelly Blue Book, like look at your car value and then chop
it was like $1,200. That's part of the problem. So like, I'm not willing to really pay more than like $2,000 to $2,500 to repair it. If it's beyond that, then I just got to ditch it and try something else. But anyway, thank you to Green Tuith for the membership. Corn Emperor says, I love Swaggy Dro. Hold on. Dro. Yeah, that would be right? I would say
Swaggy John Dro, Swaggy Dro. I like that. I like Swaggy Dro.
That's kind of dope. I like that. You see that?
Otherwise, it'd be like what? Winsoy or Coiton?
Jesus
I like
Christ.
Coiton sounds like a condition.
So does Winsoy.
Yeah. Also, if you don't get vaccinated before you travel, you might catch it. I'd get Swaggy Dro.
I like that one, man. Armada coming in with the super chat. Thank you. Winston, do you like Bossman D-Lo, Mr. Podscraper? I haven't listened to it yet. I know that came out last year. I've heard obviously of Bossman D-Lo. I just haven't listened to any of the individual stuff. So, but I will check it out. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. And Armada follows up with, wouldn't recasting Iron Fist if other defenders come back feel weird? Coy, what do you think?
I think they'd have to address it head on. I don't think they could get away with the the Don Cheadle. They navigated that, but I think we didn't think of Terrence Howard negatively. I think people not liking Finn Jones as Iron Fist is a different thing than recasting someone that is like just a recasting. I think you bring back Finn Jones in a smaller capacity and you bring back Jessica Henwick as Iron Fist because that canonically works, and Jessica Henwick is like perfect.
Yeah. No, I'm right. I'm right there with you. I think that's kind of spot on. And you're gonna have to address it. There's no way that you can't. And you could try, I guess, a little tongue in cheek, but it was also one project before versus I've been in two, because the show had 2 seasons plus the Defenders.
And the 2 seasons, the second season was way better, so the trajectory was up, which is a bummer to not. And give him a cool moment, like give him a 5-minute scene where he gets to be an absolute badass, and then Jessica Henwick, and then everyone wins.
Yeah. No, I agree. Andrew Carnes, 2 things. 1, give me Ritchson as Aquaman, not Bats. 2, I'd be nice if myself and others were able to watch No Other Land. Can't even stream it online.
I don't know what No Other Land is. Do you?
I am not familiar. Is that a Christian thing? No Other Land. What? No. 2024 film. Oh, that was the documentary that won.
I know it's vaguely familiar. Yes,
it was a huge thing. Again, we're not going to dive into the politics of all of that. But I am very aware of the fact that there has been no distributor to be able to watch it, which is incredibly frustrating. Like someone pointed out that they have more Oscars than they have distributors.
That's insane.
Right. That it's absolutely nuts. So no, I hear you on that. But Kristian will literally divert the entire flight to Los Angeles to beat my ass if I go further into that. So we'll just kind of leave it there. Gopal Sarngad Go pal. Go pal. I'm not going to even remotely try and butcher your name because you are one of the best people that support the show. So I'm just going to sit here quietly. Have either of you seen The Death and Return of Superman, Max Landis' short that's on his YouTube channel, Up to My Knees? I think so. When did it come out? Have you seen it?
I'm in it.
Oh, that's right. I love how you were like...
I'm in the Green Lantern Corps, and I'm also in a few scenes in the wrestling audience. I'm in it a bunch. I'm in it with Yuri. So I have seen it.
Is that the one that? Oh my God, what is her name? She's got red hair. What is her name? I wonder if you would know who she. I don't want to be that guy, but she used to be in adult movies, and I was a big fan of her
Misty?
then. But yes, Misty Dawn.
Yeah.
Is she also in it with? Is that the same thing? So I just didn't know you at that point.
And my friend Chloe's in it, who's a redhead. Chloe Dykstra. That's how I know Sam Witwer.
Okay.
Elijah's in it. Elijah Wood's in it. It's fun. It's a good retelling.
So that I genuinely I've seen it, and I saw you before I even knew who you were.
Yeah, I'm not in it a ton, but like I'm a Green Lantern Corps, so yeah, definitely.
Okay, well I'll have to rewatch it because it was very good. I'm sure. I'm what channel is it on again?
Max's YouTube, Up to My Knees on YouTube.
Up to My Knees. Okay, yeah, no, great suggestion. Okay, let's see. Jesse Marquez, good luck with your ride, Winston. Hope Spidey Cat gets better. Coy, thank you, Jesse. We really appreciate you for show. Corn Emperor for the swaggy whip. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Joshua Gonzalez. Say that. So I read and bought one of the best superhero comics called The Death Ray by Daniel Klaus.
He's a genius.
Coy, I bought your Daredevil recommendations as well.
Yeah. I made a video over on YouTube. I did basically 5 things that I think inspired the tone of the Daredevil show, but like not the storyline, but the tone. So I did Frank Miller's first run on Daredevil, just because like that's the foundation you need. The Charles Soule Ron Garney run that is Mayor Fisk that leads into Muse. So I would do a few volumes of that. I did Chip Zdarsky's first volume, No Fear. That tone is absolutely accurate. Man Without Fear from Bendis and Malave, I think is like the New York they're going for. And then finally, there's one called The Devil in Cell Block D. That is a Kingpin Bullseye prison story. That's awesome. And then if you want a bonus, the Mark Waid stuff and the Kevin Smith stuff is really fun.
Okay. That's awesome. I definitely have to read all of those.
That whole video on my page. They're all that's on Marvel Unlimited. So you can check out the video on my page that shows photos, and then you can just find it on Marvel.
Follow-up story, because I wanted to go see if I could find it. I looked up to My Knees and I didn't see anything. I see his Death and Return of Superman pitch, but then Adjacent TV, I guess, was the one that actually posted it. Is that another channel of his or something?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, either way, I have to go. Definitely going to still go back and watch it. Yeah, no. I mean, it has been a while. It says 13 years. So
so I got no contact.
Yeah. Mirjam, Serenity Moon, support for Coy and Winston. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. 41. The needle is moving. Maybe it's because people realize I can't pronounce names, and I have a feeling I'm getting scared that the further we go along, people are going to intentionally just put the worst names possible to troll me. All right. Tiptoe Cloud. You guys make life butter. Thank you so much.
I hope that wasn't a spelling error. I hope we make life butter.
No, hell yeah. Grease that shit up, baby. Clog them arteries. You already know what it is. Corn Emperor. Kristian isn't here. Where's the spoiler hat? That's a great question. It is here. We'll go solo dolo for a second. I'd have to zoom out. It's still a mess in here, guys. I'm trying to finish up, but it is. Oh, you can't even see it. It's on top. It's on top of the bookcase right there. So another day. Maybe I'll put it on this shelf right here. You can't see my mouse. Right there. Maybe I'll put it there somewhere so you can always see it. We'll circle back around to that, man, for sure. Where are you, Coy? There we go. Here to sponsoring Coy and Winston. Thank you, Azul. Thank you so much for that. For $1 a day, you can sponsor a Coy who really has nothing to eat but sunflower seeds and sweet tots. We'll say those are sweet tots. I know that's a tangerine.
Pistachios. What do you want from me?
No, not sweet tots. I mean Sour Patch Kids. He clearly does not take care of his body. That's not something that Coy Jandreau does. From Noah S. Hey, beautiful mofos. With yesterday's episode and knowing what's to come, I think it's safe to say Invincible is top 3 comic book TV show, and it isn't 3. Yeah, Coy, because you've read all of Invincible, right?
I thought about skipping season 2 to watch 3 because I've read it, but I'm like, that's disrespectful to the show's good. I really like season 1. I just but yeah, I want to.
Dude, we are at the point. The name of the episode was what have I done? I think, or I did this or something along those lines, and I'll let you know the storyline to kind of infer where we are at this particular point.
Have we met certain variants?
Yes. Yes. My God, it is so good. Man, and talk about like the idea. The other thing that I will say, there is a very interesting moment that feels like they're doing a nod to another animated superhero show. I'm not going to say more than that, but it was very interesting how certain things played out. It was pretty interesting, man. Robert Wild, thank you so much. Hope Born Again improves. It's okay, but the CGI sucks, and that's been the main complaint that I've heard from people. That if they don't have necessarily a problem with where the story's going, they don't necessarily have a problem with the acting, but they really are not vibing with the CGI. I'm of the mindset that like you can't harp on just the one thing. It's not so atrocious that you're like, I have to turn this off. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, you would hope that maybe it's not, if where it is rough at places, you're all good. But like even the movies that we've seen that like, or TV shows that like there's something glaringly wrong, everything else is right. At least my opinion is, then fine, you take it down a little bit of a grade, but you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
That's why I give it like an 8 to a 9, not a 10, because like there are things wrong with everything, but like that doesn't distract me from how great the story is to me.
Absolutely. Greenie from Oz. What character that had a Netflix show are you looking forward to getting a new season? For me, it's Jessica Jones. I love that show. Coy?
Yeah, I think Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are the two. I mean, obviously there's only 4 of them, but like Jessica Jones feels like the next logical progression. I would love to see that character, especially with, the reception of She-Hulk. Unfortunately, my experience with the Marvels, unfortunately, I'd love to see like an awesome badass female character get a show that feels like it's for adults and like is of a dope tone. Because I love Ms. Marvel, but it's definitely a younger show. I think it'd be cool to have an adult show and a younger show for badass women. So Jessica Jones has always been a favorite character. Bendis invented her. I love Bendis. More, please. Yes.
Yeah. I will say real quick before I answer that question, I saw someone in the comments say, are we done with Daredevil spoiler talk? Yes. Once again, just to reiterate, if you see this, at least while I'm hosting the show, that means we're talking Daredevil spoilers. So if a question comes up, I will put that up before we say that. But if it's not there, we are not talking Daredevil spoilers. I'm not trying to be an ass. I put it there on purpose so that you would know. We are done talking Daredevil spoilers at this time. All right. Let me go back. Oh, my answer. I said this last week. I would actually love to see a Heroes for Hire. I think instead of jumping directly back into a Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones, I would love to see a Heroes for Hire. Maybe a Luke and Iron Fist show, and you could throw Jessica in there, and it's essentially you get a little bit of Defenders, but you let Daredevil breathe on its own. I don't want to bleed too much of the other stuff into it, and let it breathe on its own personally.
The audience is very mad at me, justifiably so. I should have mentioned Wanda, and also how good Wanda is, yes. But one good female, like there's 100 men shows. I want women to have good shows, plural. So yes, also WandaVision's great.
You're about to get dragged.
I want to give credit.
Coy. And on Women's History Month,
in March of all times, to not name.
That's why you get front and center. I want you to take all this L. I want nothing to do with it.
Name every woman.
wait, you've seen that, right? Billy Eisner was like, for $1, name a woman. Like asking a girl, she's like, name a woman, and she's like, she was like, you literally could have named yourself. What are you doing?
Yeah, screaming Billy Eichner will throw you off. It's just science.
Accurate, fully accurate. Okay, let's see. Mirjam, Serenity Moon, hope Spidey will be well, sending some healing and positive vibes your way, Koi. My focus went out. Give me a second, y'all. Sorry.
I appreciate that. He is doing better today. I have a lot of poop to clean up, a lot of throw up to clean up. It was a scary day yesterday. It's been a rough one.
You did tell me that before we started. Shit, man.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's everywhere. But yeah, handling that next.
Yeah. Okay. Noah S. What are your thoughts about the theory of the NMP address teasing the secret life of Foggy Nelson's story with Foggy faking his death?
There is an issue where Foggy fakes his death, and thank you for that exact timing. There is an issue where Foggy fakes his death, and it is a single issue that reveals that he has faked it and that he's alive. And that issue number may or may not be the number of the building that is in the episode.
Well, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. Okay. We'll take it back down. I have no thoughts. Just leave that right there. All right. Jesse Marquez, support. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mirjam, Serenity Moon. To search out joy is now in this time so important. And my question is, what brings you guys joy?
Pressure. I struggle to find joy more and more, and that's why I'm trying to get offline, because I'm my baseline is usually pretty happy, but I get affected by online more than I like, more than I'm comfortable with. So what gives me joy is like being in real life, like being like touching grass. I love tasting food and not being on my phone or watching TV and just actually tasting the moment. I love having a sip of whiskey and actually tasting it. I love coffee and like the feel coffee gives me. I love petting my cat and not being multitasking and just being in the moment with my cat. I love spending time with my fiance where we're both not worried about work or what the next thing is and actually like being together without thinking of what's to come. I love being present. And everything in our late stage capitalism society is trying to get us to not be present. And everything in our society is getting us to consume and think we're not enough. So I'm really working on finding moments where I feel like I'm enough and not letting anyone tell me otherwise. And it gives me joy to stop thinking and just be.
I love that, man. For me, it is hard right now because it feels like the world is on fire constantly. In every facet. So I think the thing that brings me the most is getting back to creating. I enjoy doing my channel, but because it is so much work and a lot of work that I don't enjoy as much, I wouldn't say that it always brings me as much joy. Connecting with you guys does, for sure. But I do like doing it for sure. But the pure creation of writing sketches, filming them, acting, like I'm in acting class again, and one of the things that's really good just to keep things sharp is there's no pressure to book the role, there's no pressure to whatever, it's just creating, and that really puts me in my happy place and it anchors me. And I realize when I don't do it, I spiral hard because that is my main MO and that is what I was meant to do. So if I don't do that, slowly the light bulb starts to dim. So that's kind of how I change the light bulb is I go create.
Hell yeah, man. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm so back in class. It's rad, man.
Thanks, man. Noah S., my friend group all has different politics, but we all agreed you have to respect Daredevil for having the balls for actually trying to say something. You goddamn right. I fully agree with that. Because some other things pulled punches.
And certainly felt lesser for it.
Yep. Yes, it did. Got it. Like, look, I've said that about like any good stand-up will tell you. The stand-ups that you enjoy, whether or not you agree with their politics or not, are the ones that actually have a point of view and then can tell it to you in both a smart and funny manner. So like there's this like notion that there are things you cannot joke about. And I disagree with that. It's you really have to come at it from a standpoint of what are you trying to say and are you cleverly saying it? So like there was I can't remember the name of the comedian, but there was one where they had a trans joke and like this whole argument about it being pushed back and forth. They're like, so what you're telling me is that all these people are faking to be trans women so they can just so they can attack women, right? So you're telling me that this whole time that if someone was trying to essay somebody, what was stopping them? They're like, oh, I'm gonna get you, woman. I'm gonna get you. Oh, a woman's bathroom sign, my one kryptonite. I guess I'm not gonna do that today. Like it was something along those lines where like you're cleverly discussing a situation. So I think that you got to go for it. I think if you're going to do art in the first place, have a point of view and go for it. And I love that Daredevil is already doing that.
Agree. And I think art, not all art needs to be political, but I think art needs to reflect life. And a huge part of our life is political because it influences our life and it informs our life and it currently shapes our life. So it's nice when it can be handled well.
Well, the funny thing is that I think that all art is by its nature political. It's just that some of them aren't as loud of a statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, because just by the nature of how we perceive life is going to shape how we're moving through stuff. It just doesn't necessarily have to be I am making a full-blown statement, but we all have a point of view. Every piece of art has a point of view. So that's my 2 cents. We're pretty much on the same page. So, okay, Gopal trying to help me out. FYI, it's pronounced similar to Juggernaut. So Juggathan.
Juggernaut. It sounds less real when I say it out loud. Juggernaut. I just don't have like my tongue isn't like when you try to speak Latin, how it's like
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to butcher it.
This is my.
I'm good at if someone says it and I hear it. I'm almost like Daredevil in that regard. If I hear it, I'm good. But ooh, Lord. Okay. Commenting with the super chat. Should the Punisher special presentation screen in theaters early 2026 to make some money before going to Disney Plus?
I think there needs to be some new legalese for rights of TV and special presentations to get screened, because I would watch Stranger Things in theaters in a heartbeat. And I think there are a lot of cinematic shows. Like I'd rewatch Breaking Bad in theaters. Like I would love if things engineered for TV also got to run. Why not make the bonus money for people like me? So I'd love that.
Yeah. I mean, I still stand by the idea of, if you're going to charge for all these streamers, and let me preface this by, I heard the second half of what you said and missed the first half. So if I end up repeating you, I apologize, just because I was looking at something else producing wise. I still think that as much money as Disney has, as much money as Amazon has, all that, if you're going to have all these streamers, you should get some sort of like one ticket a month for the streamer to go see some of these things on the big screen, because some of them I think would look really good on the big screen like that. And then that also lends itself to, I do want to go see Thunderbolts, but I don't have the money to do that right now. But I do have Disney Plus, so that's what I'll use my ticket for. You know what I'm saying? Like something along those lines. I think that would be cool. But that's just me. But yeah, I would like that. I would love to see it on the big screen. Gopal, most Indian words stress the first syllable. Let's try this again. Juggernaut.
How we doing?
Let us know, because I feel like I'm messing up. Tony Reyes. I enjoyed Born Again. It's a worthy continuation, but in my opinion, not up to par with the Netflix show, especially with the dialogue. It fell a little short. That's fair. I respect that opinion. Go ahead, Coy. I feel a little bit.
I was just going to say, I've described it as like, if I was putting it as the Netflix show, it'd be a 7 out of 10. If I was comparing it to Disney Plus shows, it'd be a 9 out of 10. So it lands at a high 8 for me because I'm enjoying it. But if I was like, if I didn't care about the greater MCU and I didn't care about Disney Plus stuff and I was so just Netflix, I would be lower. But since some of the Netflix shows have disappointed me and I was like, this feels like an average, it feels like a top 3 for Disney Plus show. So like it balances a bit. So for me, that's where I land.
I mean, I would even make the argument that, again, like I was saying, the original show is very reminiscent this is my sports analogy for the day. And I know you don't watch a lot of basketball, but very reminiscent to say like the Warriors, in that they are not a out of the gate team that does stuff. Occasionally, most of the time they're playing fine. A lot of the times they're playing behind. They go into the half, they come back out, and then the third quarter, Steph Curry goes crazy. And that they're a third quarter team, and then they just beat the brakes off you. the first Daredevil show was always so slow to start every season where I'd be like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? But once you put your foot on the gas, there is no brakes.
Yeah.
This show I feel is the opposite. I actually feel like, I don't know, because we're only 2 episodes in, the pacing already, I'm like, oh, should we move him, baby? Because like you start with that fight. And then you immediately, even though you're then having to world build about what is going on between our 2 main characters that we're following, I'm going to stay away from any spoiler stuff. We're already in the thick of it and how it's like affecting the rest of the world because of how it starts. So yeah. I just think the pacing is a lot better with this, but I will agree so far that I do think that the Netflix show is a little bit superior overall, but we're 2 episodes in, so who knows?
We got 20 minutes left. We got a lot of questions.
Got to speed through them. Yes, we do. Cupcake Bliss. I'm not a fan of James Gunn or I'm not a fan of James Gunn or have any interest seeing Superman, but I would love to see him as Batman.
Alan Ritchson, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I'm here for it. Have you seen the awful CW Powerpuff Girl trailer? Yes. I'm assuming you haven't. Oh, you have?
No, I watched it. I love Powerpuff Girls. That was an experience.
I do too.
Sometimes it's good when things don't have the chance to ruin your childhood.
No, that was rough, bro. That was rough. Edward Collins II. Alan Ritchson could be a great apocalypse. Yeah.
I like that.
I could see that. F with the vision. Andrew, here we go. Krivolka. Do you think we'll see Oliver Queen in the DCU, and would you rather see Stephen Amell return to the character or someone else be cast?
I think we'll see Oliver Queen. I don't think they would want to confuse the audience. I got nothing against Stephen Amell, but it wouldn't make sense canonically, and I do think there is going to be confusion with multiverse stuff. So Charlie Hunnam.
Great choice. Don't hate it. I really don't. If he's not Wolverine, Taron Egerton. I think he'd also
both good with bows. Both look like little Robin Hoods.
Yes, they do. DG, Kingpin character MCU, so hard to track. Went from Kingpin of Crime, where people feared saying his name, the Island Vacation mode with superpowers, to marriage counselor arc. He is all over the place, but hey, we are all complex characters, all right? Someone had the audacity to say to me in one of the things, they were like, hey, man, why don't you talk hell black like that when you're on Kristian show? Because typically that's more of my default, and when I do that, I'm dropping N-bombs too much, and I got asked to stop doing that, so I kind of code switched it down just a little bit so I don't overdo it over here. People are different, so,
This glow, this alabaster glow on Winston, it affects him. I'm just glowing at him, and it tones.
Gamma radiation.
You think there's a light on Winston's side right now? No, it's just glowing off my light.
That's just Koi.
It's just the Irish rubbing off glow.
Watch me take Koi off the screen. Watch what happens. It just got dark as hell in this mother.
You guys ever been on set? White balance is strong.
It's strong.
As an alabaster boy.
Play it strong. Go Pal. Did y'all see Love Hurts with Kihui Kwan? I thought it was a lot of fun. I haven't had time yet, man. Is it good?
It was fun. I wanted a little bit more personally because I was hoping for Fall Guy. The action was great. The stunts were fantastic. The 87 North side of everything was fantastic. I just I didn't really buy the relationship with Ariana DeBose and Key, and that threw off the love story part, which is like half. So that was a little tricky.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, I still want to see
him.
Huge ass, says DG. You're damn right. DJ Case gifting 10 memberships. Holy crap. Thank you so much, DJ. That is amazing. I wish that counted for 10 questions. It's bullshit.
It is.
Corn Emperor, Engine. Look online. Mine's refurbished going 3 years. Huh. There's more to it than that. There are other things that when they got in there, but I will definitely take a look and see. Yeah. DJ Case with support. Thank you. And support again. Thank you. And Corn Emperor support. Tropus. Oh, support backwards. God damn it. Y'all know I'm struggling. Shit. Damn it. You're making the motherfucker cry. Like, see, I almost dropped the N word because I got frustrated. Corn Emperor with more support. Thank you. Oh boy. Steph D'Agostini. I think that's right. Try my name again, LOL. D'Agostini. I don't know why I'm putting that unnecessary.
Right? Is it D'Agostini? Steph D'Agostini?
D'Agostini? D'Agostini. I say Alan Richmond as Shazam. Oh,
that's fun.
That'd actually be fun as hell. I would be
that.
here for that. I would genuinely enjoy that. Casual Scroll, comic book question. What happened if Rogue touched the Hulk? It's happened before, hasn't it?
I'm sure it has. I can't think of one example, but like I assume, hugely strong, and maybe it would take some of his gamma. He might depower. But that'd be a cool moment.
Also rage out a little bit. Yeah.
She'd get angry and big.
Because the other thing is she takes on personality. So she's probably ends up taking some Bruce and some Hulk in there, and that she'd be very angry.
Yeah, I imagine intelligence too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because like it even happened in like they showed it in the comics, but they showed it in like X-Men the Animated Series, the OG, where she touches Archangel, and Archangel is full of rage because of Apocalypse, and then all of a sudden she's like, ah! And she's just screaming all the time. So yeah, that was part of that. Corn Emperor, thank you so much for more support. DJ Case got here a little late today. Coy, can I get a Cliff Notes version of White Tiger to catch me up on him?
So White Tiger is actually a number of characters. Like it's a passed on totem of power. White Tiger was big in the 70s. I think he's actually the first Puerto Rican hero ever. So I would read some of his beginning stuff in the 70s because it was a big moment. Like Black Panther is huge for the impact in that culture. People aren't giving the flowers to White Tiger being the first Puerto Rican hero. So I'd go read the OG stuff. And then Mighty Avengers, New Avengers, the Brian Michael Bendis era was where I kind of came across White Tiger as a mantle. And then currently it's his niece. And I think that might be like a really cool way to do legacy characters. So yeah, I'd check out the new stuff as well, but I'd go back to the 70s first.
So what did you first say? Because it sounds like you got it.
D'Agostini. Steph D'Agostini.
D'Agostini. I bet. See, I just need to hear it. If I physically hear it, I do a lot better. D'Agostini. Great. DJ Case with the support. Thank you so much. Corn Emperor, say Irish wristwatch. Irish wish. Oh my God. Irish with Irish. Damn it. We're going to run out of time. I can't do this right now. Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch.
It got differently. Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch.
You tripped.
I was almost there. I'm not going to claim perfect. I was going for good.
Support. Thank you, DJ Case. J Trey J88. Support for the fellas. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Hasbro 24. Who wins in a fight? John Wayne versus Clint Eastwood.
I think Clint Eastwood's still alive.
Damn. Yes, that's kind of fucked up. Casual Scroll. If Edgar Wright was to direct a DCU project, which character would you guys pick? Booster Gold.
Oh, I like that. I want a Tim Drake Robin movie.
Oh, yeah,
like a 90s too. Robin Edgar Wright joint.
Yeah, I like that. Seattle KO. I saw a rumor regarding Jesse Plemons being eyed for Hank McCoy as for MCU X-Men. I did see that on Comic Book Movie. I didn't want to move too much. I personally don't hear it, but I know he's a good actor. Which comic book character do you see him playing, if not Beast? I mean, I could see him as Hank. I could see him as Hank. Anything else? I don't know. What are you thinking?
I think it'd be a good arcade. I think it'd be fun to see him like as an evil guy fighting the X-Men. If we're gonna do X-Men, like if he's in there.
See, at that point, it sounds like you just have Black Mirror on the mind, and you're thinking about him kind of ruling over his digital sphere, and that's where
that's why you cast him. But I at the end of the day, I think it's whitewashing. That character's supposed to be blue, so they got to stop race swapping characters.
Damn, bro. Noah S. Okay, this one's gonna be hard. Testicles. Testicles.
Noah Testicles.
Testicles.
I think it's Greek.
Probably. Damn. Okay. Go pal. Coy. I didn't know you were friends with Chloe. Her show Chaotic Awesome on Bite Size TV was my way into this whole world.
My first guest appearance. So I had a show at Bite Size. I had my own show there. My first hosting job was at Bite Size, separate of Chloe. It was called Comic Sense, like comic and SE and SE. We had the same filming day. and we knew each other way before that. But my first guest spot was on Chaotic Awesome ever. So 2015, you can see me guesting on Chloe's show because we've known each other for like 15 years. We have the same birthday. So every night at midnight on our birthday, we race the other to wish the other happy birthday.
Nice.
Like 24 minutes
oh,
older.
that's funny you mentioned that. Hold on. I'll jump ahead one. I remember Coy mentioned your first hosting thing was at Bite Size. Is that where you know Chloe from first? There you go.
Oh, that's funny. No, we knew each other as mutual friends first. We had a bunch of mutual friends, and then we both happened to get hired there. And now we've just known each other forever, and we're birthday buddies.
Word. Corn Emperor, how amped are y'all for Ballerina? I can't wait. I mean, super much so. I love the John Wick universe, so I'm here for it, man. Haven't seen any of the trailers on purpose. I intentionally have avoided them all, so I'm very excited.
I know I'm just going to see it, so when I can, I avoid trailers. Same.
Yep. Corn Emperor, thoughts on Oscars? I liked Nora, but dumbfounded. Look, I haven't seen it yet. I was actually super gung-ho about this. Holy shit, they did it for $6 million. That's amazing. Like small budgets, indie films, until I found out that the director apparently was good with the WGA, with the DGA, and with SAG, but was actively going against using IATSE and everything else to skirt around that, and were screwing a lot of people below the line until he was forced to do so because the crew was dealing with unsafe work conditions. The minute I heard that, then I was not a fan of Anora anymore. But what do you think, Coy?
I like the movie. To judge the movie, as the movie.
Sure.
Yeah. Just give context. I enjoyed the movie. I don't necessarily think it was Best Picture. I had a great time with it. I more like what the movie has to say than like. I think the movie is like a great 8, 9, but like Best Picture is like 9.5. Good movie, but Dune 2 should have won. But I really like a pro-sex work film. I really like a message that is like about seeing all kinds of people as human beings. So I really like that a Best Picture film winner is about sex work in a positive way. So to me, that's worth all the baloney.
Yep.
As much as I hate rewarding that behavior, to me, that's what I get out of it.
No, I feel you. Mark Long, Chuck Norris clogs the toilet when he pisses.
Actually, never heard that Chuck Norris thing. That's good.
I haven't heard that one. That's a good one. DJ Case with the double support. Thank you so much. Corn Emperor, I need an anchor. Desmond is my constant.
Don't know what that means.
I feel like I maybe know what that means, but maybe I don't. I don't know. Clarify, please. Noah S. What's the best cereal and why is it Captain Crunch? I do fuck with some Captain Crunch, but Jay has a very funny joke about that, about how it just cuts up the roof of your mouth, trying to be a thug and shit, and all of a sudden you're just like just eating razor blades. I love Captain Crunch. I don't know why y'all are so soft. Learn to have stronger mouths.
I mean, you and the Captain make it happen. I've never had a problem.
I'd never ever. I
think of Fruit Loops is actually more hardcore than Captain Crunch.
Draw out the A in the third syllable. Juggernauthan. Jesus Christ. Noah S. What I like is from these first 2 episodes, they seem to be laying more into Matt's lawyer side, which I love. The Netflix, that I fully agree. I fully agree. It is such a major part of the character and the idea essentially of when he can't get it done in the courtroom, he gets it done on the streets. I really like that. And that he defends people, innocent people on both sides. I really like that a lot. Cupcake Bliss. Haven't seen the others May shows. What do they mean when Kingpin disappeared?
After the events of Echo, he goes away for a while, and they're trying to clean up continuity so they can make it like you could have skipped Echo and Hawkeye and just watched the Netflix show. So they just throw in that line of dialogue for that.
Got it. Support. Thank you, DJ Case. The pronunciation of my name heavily emphasizes the crap and sheets.
Understood.
Mr. I crap and sheets. Really enjoyed Daredevil Born Again. Thank you, Mr. I crap and shits. I can see how you can watch it without seeing the Netflix series, but having seen it enhances it. Agreed. It feels very Cobra Kai in that regard. Feels very Cobra Kai to Karate Kids. Case with both of them.
Killing it today. Thank you, DJ.
Thank you, DJ. I appreciate that, man. Seriously. J Mobile. I, like Winston, rewatched all of Netflix Daredevil before Daredevil Born Again. I love it. My only issue was parts of the opening fight with Bullseye looks a little too CGI. I agree with Coy on the feeling of like a Volume 4. Agreed. Eric Kirby, who wins in a fight, LeBron or Stephen A. Smith? Is that a real question? I don't know if you heard that LeBron threatened Stephen A. Because he used he kind of was going at Bronny in a segment. Stephen A. Smith was. And so at the Laker game, LeBron was like, keep my son's name out your mouth or something like that, essentially, like in his face. He didn't hit him, but he got in his face. And I was like, now LeBron don't even really get mad. Now you're about to see him get mad, just like out of nowhere, man. Sean McCabe, hey guys, hope you're good. Daredevil is looking great. Thank you so much, Sean. J Mobile, more support from my fellow Blurred, and my wife is a ginger, so I rock with you too, Coy. Both of y'all are my favorite nerds. Thank you so much, J Mobile. Appreciate you. Corn Emperor, Desmond from Lost. Oh, it's a line in the show. Let me go back. What was he? I haven't seen Lost in a very long time.
Desmond Anchor.
Yes. Okay, I'm back. I'm there. It's just been a while. DJ Case with 2 more. Thank you so much. And our last one of the day. Andrew Carnes, don't want Constantine 2. Needed new John Constantine for the DCU. Yeah.
I'm hoping for Batman it, where we get both. I'm hoping, because I want Constantine as well, but I love Keanu, so I hope we get a Batman situation where we have a Justice League Dark kind of thing with our comic one, and then we have Keanu.
I would have preferred that as the whole like anchor constant conversation that happened at the end of Flash with Aquaman. Oh, you're the same in every universe. I would have preferred it with Constantine because we've actually seen that in the comics before. We've seen it in they did it in Justice League Dark. The end of it, there was like Constantine was the same across.
But then we'd always have Keanu, and that's I like Keanu, but I don't think he's Constantine. So I'd love to get one last.
Oh,
Keanu.
you didn't like it? You didn't like him?
He's not British or blonde or like that. It doesn't.
Fair.
The energy is Keanu. Not.
What about Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan's great, but I think he's 45 or whatever.
Okay, hey, 45. Y'all don't age that much like bananas.
Have you seen a 47-year-old white man versus a 44-year-old white man? I disagree.
Bro, skincare, water.
I'm enjoying my last
sleep.
2 good years.
Skincare, water, sleep. And now you're about to marry a black woman. You will be fine. You should put cocoa butter on your face. You'll be fine, bro. Chill.
In 10 years when it looks like I'm Benjamin Button in the wrong way and she looks like she's going the right way, it's going to be a problem. I accept that.
We just had an influx real quick. DJ Case with another 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Mr. I Crap and Shit's Ginger Nerd, a GERD. Maybe?
GERD? Like gastroesophageal reflux disease? I used to have GERD. I took Nexium for it.
Oh, wow. Corn Emperor, what are we at for the week? I don't know where we're at for the full week for the show. Huh?
How many super chats we have for today?
Right now we're at 83. So we're pretty far off, and we have to be out of here in 2 minutes because we both have to get to our other jobs. But we appreciate the support. And less, Rox did it again. Asshole. I'm kidding. I love you, Rox. Casual Scroll. Just rewatched Logan. Is it me, or does anyone think Boyd Holbrook would make a great Gambit?
I'm into that. And, if James Mangold was directing, I'm sure he'd cast him because he works with him and everything. But I love Boyd Holbrook, man. I feel like Mangold's the only one that gets the power of that actor, and they should use him more.
Yep. And finally, Noah S. Balls. All right. That is going to be the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for riding with us. Oh, I see. Oh, a couple more popped in right at the last second. Support again from Case twice. Thank you, man. Thank you. Eric Kirby, Coy, do you remember what Spider-Man issue number where Spider-Man is trying to save Kingpin and the Beyonder just keeps mentally messing with him?
It was in the late 70s. It was right before Secret Wars 2. It was a crossover between Amazing Spider-Man in, I want to say, the 270s and Spectacular Spider-Man. It's a crossover cover where it's a gold cover and another gold cover. When you put them together, it's him swinging from the black suit to the red suit. I want to say it's 270s and then respectively in the 90s of Spectacular, but look in like 77, 78 for those 2 gold covers.
Dude, that is your schmodown. We need to just have you have to guess the numbers of and like the spinning of the wheel. It's like, okay, Batman comic numbers. Okay, Spider-Man comic numbers. And just watch you go, bro. Dan DeMurl would be kissing your ass. That's what I'm saying.
That's why DC called, because I can be like, oh, wait, obscure fact. Here you go.
Wild. So wild that you're able to do that. Well, tell them where they're at so they can learn even more about these comic numbers, man, because that's impressive as shit.
If you want to see that in real time, I do a live show every week where I read 50 to 70 comics a week and I give you my favorite 9. I call it This Week in Comics. It's every single week on my YouTube page, as well as the biggest movie reviews, the biggest TV reviews. So please subscribe to my page. When we hit 50K, doing a 50 comic giveaway. So hunt me down on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all at my name, Coy, CoyJandreau. But I'm always going to plug Winston while I'm here because that dude hustles, grinds, just moved, and edits. I just post my shit live and hope people can tolerate me talking long form. He's making an actual page full of like polish. So check out his production value. He's got good stuff to say and he says it with panache. So check out Winston's page too.
That's so cute. I appreciate you, man. You already know where to find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms, especially on YouTube, as I mentioned before. Sometime next week, most likely next weekend, I will post about that on the other socials. I'm going to be doing a marathon stream, maybe raising some funds, try and get my car fixed or to hop into another one. It's mean out here in these streets, but I will have my Daredevil reaction this weekend. I will have Blurred Breakdown next week. We'll be doing both live shows. I'm sorry I missed, again, the car stuff. All that good stuff. And of course, you can see us here at Capes and Cows. Don't miss any of the stuff going on the channel. And obviously I'm going to plug Kristian's UAP channel as well. You don't want to miss that. Kristian should be back next week. If anything changes, I'm sure he will make an announcement himself. But with that, y'all, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Capes and Cows. We're going to get up out of here, y'all.
Motherfucking Batman!
Peace!